Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a different kind of video. Today we're going to talk about 3D printing, and reason being, we have 3D printer in the shop. We actually have a huge one. We have the Creality CR6 Max, and hopefully we don't get interrupted by a customer, but if we do, pretty sure I can pause this video and then come back to it. So today I just want to do a little bit of a tutorial on how we print the 3D files and how we make the 3D files, because you would not believe the amount of people that come in off the street and just kind of say, can you print this picture? We've had wedding dresses, we've had like pictures of people. We can't print a JPG picture because that's a 2D image. We need a STL file basically. So this is how I create the 3D files, and hopefully you can see here. So this is Tinkercad, the free online software basically, and it's the most simple version to use because I'm not that creative, although I did make the Vault stand and other things. The 3D printer itself does some amazing things, but I just make simple models and print simple models. Here is one of my actually most recent creations. This is essentially, it's a Nick Shop bucket, and I made it two-tone colors. That's nicotine in there, don't touch that. Definitely don't lick it. So the base is blue, and then the rest of it is this nice metallic black color. So I can fill this up Nick shots and put them in the bin when it's done. So that's my most recent creation. I'm not going to show you the bottom because I didn't sand it. It's just to sit here at the shop. We've also done cool things like Vault key rings. This is a real wood PLA filament. This is real wood-ish. There's real wood in there. Feels really nice. Smells really good when it's printing too. And this is a type of key ring that I've made for my shop here. Then we have things like, this is actually a card stand to stand cards in, but it works really great as a phone holder too. And this is also the real wood PLA filament. This one, I'll show you the bottom, that come out pretty nice. These little scars are just where the print bed wasn't cleaned, but for projects when I sell them, I clean everything properly. Everything comes out really neat, really nice. So that's just a quick introduction of what we can do and what they look like once it's done. Two-tone products, different filaments and different shapes and designs. This is how I actually make the designs. Hopefully you can see, I can't zoom in on front camera. So Tinkercad, you'll have to log in and sign in, then new design. How Tinkercad works is essentially, on the right hand side here, we have shapes, and you add and subtract shapes to make your model. So once it loads up, I'm going to make a keyring, and to just quickly show how it's done. I keep saying quickly, this video is probably going to be at least 10 minutes long. There is a print on at the moment, and that's got 20% left. So once that's done, hopefully I can show you that and it all times out well. So for example, if you want writing, you pull over the text and you put the text in here. We are going to do the Vault. So I know that I want that in two parts, the and Vault. Like so. Then you move them about to where you want them. So the base here would be the printer bed. We can go all the way up to 40 by 40. This is set up to be 20 by 20. That's 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. For easiness, we can make them touch, and that is literally just for my easiness. And that's about neat. Then you would have to learn Tinkercad to do this yourself, or we can actually do, or I can design things here, but you'll see now just how basic this program really is. This one here, well, if I'm giving a tutorial, I might as well do it properly. So now we have the words, and this middle one will tell you the height. If I make that 5 centimeters in height, and then I'm going to make the base 2 centimeters in height, and then I'm gonna, this one here on the left will change your view. I'm gonna make that big enough to cover the base, sorry, to cover the letters, and hopefully that fits really nicely. That does fit really nicely. Radius here, in the options for your block that you've chosen, radius will curve the edges. Is that a 1 or a 2? That's a 2, and 2 curves it by that much. So I'm going to want a keyring hole on here, and here is how to make a keyring hole. The first two shapes, rectangle and circular, they're clear, so you know that's going to subtract from your design, which you can't actually see that well. Can we see it now? This one here is a circle. I want that about there. I've already tested this size. 5 is good enough to fit a keyring through. and then that is a hole, so we're going to put that right nice and close to the edge there. Then if you select everything by dragging and holding, these two, they're shapes essentially. Group will group them together and that will cut the hole out. Then if you want to undo that, you can either go undo or ungroup. And essentially, now we have a keyring. So after that, basic steps there, we can add things to it. I have a pineapple that I just recently worked with. So I would go to import, choose file, and choose the pineapple. So most of the shapes you can get off Thingiverse already designed. So if I wanted a pineapple, I would Google search Thingiverse. You might have to log in to download things. Pineapple, and Thingiverse will show you a load of models that other people have made and uploaded for you to use. This is the one that I actually used for the pineapple. It is completely 3D. So once you download this, if you printed just that, it would be a completely 3D pineapple. Once I put that into Tinkercad, it's still uploading. Then I'll show you what I do to get a pineapple on this logo. Keyring. It's not really a logo, it's a keyring. The Tinkercad is really basic. On the right, you have a list of shapes, and you can actually, for example, it's really hard for me to explain. I'm not by any means a pro at this, but if I wanted to not use a square or a circle to subtract the square or circle, I could use this, change it from solid to whole. I've just got a customer, so I'm going to pause that. So we are back. Oh, it didn't pause, we're starting a whole new section, but I'll merge that together. You won't even know the difference. While I've been serving a customer, this model has, what's it done? It's loaded up into here, but let me just finish talking about this. So solid is solid, you're adding to it, and then whole is a whole, you're subtracting from it. So if you wanted a hexagonal shape, let's move pineapple for now, out of the right hand side, let's take a little chunk out here. You'd move that into place and then group it, which will cut a hole out of that there. Once it loads, so now I've used the hexagonal shape and cut a hole out the side there. Literally just to show you guys how I use Tinkercad. It's the most basic software out there. Blender is much more detailed if you want to blend shapes. So for example, this pineapple, it could have been made in this software, but it's more than likely made in Blender, where you can push corners, pull corners out, shape things better. So where that hexagonal thingy majiggy was, I'm gonna add the pineapple. So I'm gonna lay it down by rotating it, which is essentially a semicircle that you grab and drag 90 degrees to make it flat. Then I'm gonna position it this way by, let's try to show you this time. Grabbing the semicircle here, we're gonna go 45 degrees. Now I can see that's too big for what I'm designing on, what I'm making it on. Well, too big for the, you can tell this is my first video for 3D printing. Too big for the keyring that we're putting it on. So I'm gonna almost completely flatten it and then make it smaller. Now this pineapple, I'm gonna move over here and adjust the angle a bit more so it looks cool. Now I have Vapor Volt with a funky pineapple coming off the side there. Once I'm happy with where it is, well, where I shrunk it, I can see that's too high. This pen, this arrow will drop it right down. I'm going to place that. Oh, we can see I was well off where I thought that was. So it takes a little bit of learning, getting used to moving things. That's exactly where I want it. But that one will lower it down to the thing. So you go to the here, and then you can see, oh, this battery's going to die now as well. Not my day. Then select everything by drag and holding and group it together. And now we have Vapor Volt, or the Volt with a pineapple on it. Just to show you how to add things from Thingiverse and how to move them into position, size them, shape them, cut things out, add things to it. And you can see this keyring is 3-dimensional, which is why an image won't work, because it's completely 2D. There's nothing for the 3D software to use, basically. Once you have your design, I am going to name this Pineapple Volt. You then export it. Now I already have CURA loaded up, but you'll need CURA to do this next part. It will, well, technically not, because you can export it as an STL, send it to me, and then I can use CURA to do the rest. But either an OBJ or STL file is what we need to print with, because they're the only two files that seem to work in CURA. So if I download that as an STL, something happened with Tinkercad, but it's loading up now. It will download as an STL and be ready for CURA. If I double click it, because I have CURA, it'll open in CURA, and CURA is the software that takes the STL file and converts it into a file that the printer can use. I think that's right. So we design on Tinkercad, we export as a STL file, then we import that file into CURA. Here's one I made earlier. This is very similar keyring for Just Juice, and we can see it's keyring with Just Juice writing, and down the right here I have all my settings. So the smaller the nozzle, the more detail you'll get, but the longer it will take to print. And then we have layer height, which is how many layers. Always want that low for high detail. This particular keyring says it will take 52 minutes. The one that is on the printer now, which will finish very soon, is here. And this has it's just finished, I heard it. This has a pineapple and a mango on it, and it took 1 hour 36 with those settings, 0.2 nozzle and a 0.1 layer height. Now, why has my keyring not loaded? Pineapple Vault. While that loads up, I'm going to pause this video and grab the printer off the machine. So when we come back, we'll have two things to show you. And we are back. This is the finished product. This is off the printer. Doesn't look much now because of these stringy bits, but usually I'd use a fine scalpel, take those off. This is just rough to get the video out and show what can be done. And I have somebody waiting to see what this looks like. So halfway, well, not halfway through, it was on 90%, and I changed the filament color from blue to orange, and that's why we've got a two-tone keyring here. The circle I can see did not come out very well, but that's just because the base here is very thin. I would actually make that a fair bit thicker if I was to sell it. This keyring here, I did very fine because I wanted to get all the pineapple branch bits at the top here, and it needs a scalpel to clean it up, but if I do it with my fingers, you can roughly see what it looks like. Here it is. This is meant to be a mango, JJ, and a pineapple. Not ready for sale. So the file should be a bit bigger, should be a bit thicker, and that'll be all things that I'll adjust, but going bigger would increase the price. This took 1 hour 25 minutes, which will equate to £1.50, but it is a completely 3D keyring. There is a 3D mango here, but the base is flat. And pineapple, I cut that to be flat specifically just to show what printer can do. It's pretty neat, actually. If I was given this, I'd be happy, but if I received this from a trade show, I'd think a 12-year-old made this on his laptop. So I'm gonna have to play with this, get better detail. Unfortunately, 0.2 is the smallest layer height, so this is as good as we can get this branch here. But if it was flat completely, it'd look a lot better with just JJ raised, and then I can change the color of JJ and things like that. But just to finish, well, there's finished product basically, £1.50. And this is just to finish off showing how the program works. So I've imported my logo. This is CURA, and there is the Vault with the pineapple. It's on a 0.4 nozzle, which means I know this ain't gonna come out right here, but it might do because it's that little bit bigger. 0.4 nozzle, we can go 0.2 layer height. And if I slice this, it will tell me how much and how long this will take. I have another customer, 3 hours 15. So that keyring will be £3.15 or £3.25. But yeah, that will conclude my tutorial. Thank you very much.